Let's get into these questions. So we put up the ability for you to ask Braeden questions on our social media. Producer Mac will write it down here in case you don't know what it is. These are just going to be generic as they came in. It's not going to be in a progression of this.
Let's do it.
I will preface this again by saying if you have an issue with any type of sports enhancement, the chemical side of things, I'm not worried about your personal opinion, but if this bothers you, turn it off right now.
Absolutely.
He's going to be honest. He's not here to sell shit.
Absolutely.
He's here to help us, help our audience learn and do it. What did you say last time? None of this shit is safe.
Absolutely not.
But if you're going to do it, which people are going to, they need
100%.
to know the safest. Not safe, safest. Are we understood here?
Not removing risk, reducing it.
Exactly. We're going to reduce it like we do everything else. Just like we don't want you guys buying a house with the wrong knowledge, because then you're going to be broke for 3 decades. All right. So here we go. Oh, the first one's actually pretty simple, and you may have already answered it. When did the vision goal to have a gym come?
So that was something for me that I actually wanted a long time, and people don't really know this, and you might not even know this, but this vision had kind of started when I was actually working at Good Life. And it was something I knew I wanted because of that culture that I spoke about earlier in this conversation, that I didn't like the feel of it. I didn't like the corporate atmosphere that was coming into a fitness setting. And I wanted something different.
The sales bullshit.
It's not who I am. And it's like, you should be here because you want to fucking change. It's not like you should be here because I convinced you have to change. And that was the kind of environment I felt like I was in. So I wanted something bigger, and it just worked out in that way that, my friend who I was working with at the gym that I had mentioned got me the job, had changed somebody's life. He was a personal trainer as well, had changed somebody's life who we became really good friends with. And he was a young entrepreneur with some money. And the 3 of us had a conversation. It was like, we should do something bigger and better here, and we could have a really, really successful thing going. And so we started working on it. We built a big business plan for it. We spent a lot of time in meetings going over stuff. And we were kind of at a point that we were about to start negotiating between 2 properties to snag. We had basically cut all our POs for equipment, and that was just a cool position to be in, because I guess it was one of those things where we were kind of managing partners, and the other partner was more so a financial backing and security in the finance side with finance degrees and stuff like that. So he was going to run the number side of things. We were just going to manage the gym, pick out all the equipment with our knowledge, and use our skills that we had at that time.
Everybody doing their perfect
Absolutely.
job. Yeah.
And it was a perfect world, one might say, in that instance. And then COVID happened. So we were kind of right there. And I'm a very, very risk-tolerant person. So I seen an opportunity with it myself. So did my one partner. And it was like, I want to do this still. And we'll keep our doors open when everybody else closes. We'll eat the fines. We'll do what we need to give people a place to train. And they'll come from every corner of the city to train, because we'll be the only place they can train. And that culture we talked about that we built, I wanted to bring that there, where people just, training wasn't an option, right? And to this day, I still think it would have been very lucrative. Yeah, we've had pushback from governments and stuff like that, and fought all the stuff that we would have needed to fight. But I was down to do it because I believed in the vision of it. Unfortunately, my one partner, like I said, he was a finance guy and kind of came from the banking world, and he was a little more reserved on the risk-taking side of things, which understandable given his position and what he sees, right? So he kind of pulled back and pulled away, and without that, we just didn't have the means to do it. So from that point, I was even hungrier to do it. And it was like, this is going to fucking happen. I don't know when, but it's going to fucking happen. So what did I start doing right at that point? I started buying equipment for my garage. And I started with small pieces I could find on Marketplace that I just knew were quality pieces. Then I would swap those out, and I started, instead of selling the stuff, putting it in a storage unit. And I ended up making a really, really solid garage gym that most people would be like, holy fuck, you have this in your garage? Because half the pieces that were in my garage are actually on the den gym floor now, and you would never know it.
A lot of equipment there. Way too much.
Yeah, and then, like I said, I ended up getting to a point that I had 2 storage units full, plus my garage full, and I was doing it. And then it was one of those things where there's somebody who owns a gym in like the Edmonton and surrounding area and wanted to partner with me, and it seemed like a good opportunity again. Finance-wise, they had what was needed and so forth, but it just, again, I don't think fostered the vision that I wanted. So it didn't come to fruition, and I ended up just going to Ty and Dill because they, like I said, they were guys I had worked with at this point for a long period of time. They worked on my team as coaches. I trusted them. We had a good relationship, and they were passionate. And I was like, hey, I'm doing this. Do you guys want in on this? Because this is something that I think we could do bigger and better together. It's that saying, right? If you wanna go fast, go alone. If you wanna go far, go together.
Oh my God. I'd love to break off a 5-minute conversation on that. This me against the world bullshit,
Yeah.
it's glamorized in movies and social media. No, the right team will conquer. You may do well. A team will absolutely conquer.
100%, man. And the reality is I couldn't handle the load that I have right now between my other businesses and the gym without the partners I have. And in other businesses too, right? I don't have any of these by myself. So yeah, that was just one of those things that realistically they were like, yeah, we want to do it. And at that point of time when they said, yeah, we made it happen. And then that's when the Arkansas stuff and everything started happening. But it was a quick learning curve. But like I said, once it took off, it took off. So that's kind of, I guess, a long drawn out way of saying that's how it was bred and what came to fruition. And it was just something, my personal passion for bodybuilding and fitness drove that. But then there was a bunch of things along the way that just kind of put wood on the fire.
Okay. So was that like a lifelong thing, or like just to go specifically to this? So that was like 2017, 2018 you really started leaning towards, and then 19 was the first
So
try?
I started my bodybuilding journey in 2016 was my first show. And that was around the time I was also working in that corporate world setting. So I would say around 2017, 2018 is when I had left that. At that point in time for me, all I really cared about was bodybuilding and making money and training people. And that's when it really started to pick up what I seen on the gym floor. We had the conversations in Good Life. That's where this business idea, the original one, it was actually called Lion's Den.
Oh, that was you guys.
Yeah, Lion's Den was
us. You guys
us.
had that.
We had a social media page. We had good graphics
look
and
at
stuff.
this. I'm learning shit
We were
right
very,
now.
very close to launching. That was us, yeah.
Because when I heard that, I was like, wait, isn't that what Ken Shamrock called his jiu-jitsu? Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
so we had everything ready to go, basically. And it was just a couple decisions away and a couple pays away from making it happen. Realistically, we had to pay for the equipment, secure the lease, and it was done. And everything was ready to go until that
Shit happens.
godforsaken word happened, and it changed everything, but for the better now. If I had to go back and make the same decisions I did, I would, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, you know a little bit of my story, and my biggest climbs were during the pandemic when, like you said, the financial people, they got scared.
100%.
Anyone that worked with a bank shut their funding down. We stepped in. I'm not even going to talk about what kind of numbers it is. That's for a different show. Wealth can be created in 3 or 4 years, and he just explained that so last year you guys started, it was 7 years in the making.
Yep.
And you just pushed through.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so I hope that answered the question.